Everybody, let's have a big round of applause for this event of Maharashtra TPO Association. Vice Chancellor of Pune University, Dr. Karbhari Vishwanath Kale sir, who is the Vice Chancellor Pune University, and Vice Chancellor for Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Technical University, BATU. We welcome you, sir. To talk briefly about sir, he is a senior professor of computer science and information technology, worked as a director, Board of College and University Department, BCUD. Okay, at Babasaheb Ambedkar University, Aurangabad. He was the HOD of Department Computer Science and IT for 9 years, and he comes with a rich experience of academics. And we welcome you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for your wonderful insights for the exact industry requirements. And I'm sure our TPOs are going to get those insights and prepare well our students to bridge this particular gap between the industry and academia. Now, moving further, I would like to invite Vice Chancellor SPPU Pune and Dr. BATU, Professor Dr. Kale sir, to enlighten us about the inputs from academic perspective, like what expectations to be fulfilled through using this particular academics. Thank you.
Very good morning to one and all.
Good morning, sir.
That's great. The respected Dr. Abhay Wagh, sir, Director of Technical Higher Education Government of Maharashtra. Our colleague and Executive Council member, Professor Ulhas, Shinde, and the office bearer of the Maha Association of Training and Placement Officer, Professor Wilson Pinto, Alam, Haradkar, Pawar, Wadode, Sayer, Sonone, and so many more dignitaries, the managing directors, industry expert, and the more important training and placement officers of various institutions from Maharashtra and all from the India. At the outset, I would like to congratulate to all of you, specifically for Maha Association of Training and Placement Officer, that you feel me to bring here in front of you to speak and to deliver about the academic constraints and the industrial constraints. So I must thank for inviting me and be present, available me in the August gathering today. My dear friend, this is the first type of event that I had not observed earlier, but this is the first event that I came to know that in the Pune and that of the Pune University and the Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Technology Institute of Pune and all the name champs of the TOP has organized. I am very happy, and let us hope that at the outset, at the beginning, I would like to expect that throughout the 1 or these 2 days, there is a lot of deliberations and exercise has been carried out. The problem and challenges about the academia, students, industries, and even the government. My dear friend, you know that we are not in India almost all together in a big transition mode to implement the new National Education Policy 2020. You are the real stakeholder of the institution, you are the teacher, you are the placement officer, you are the training officer, and we as an administrator, scientists and researchers doing a lot of activity about the student. But the real fact is that the people are always traveling and crisis. There is no job, there is no placement, there is no exactly outcome for the student, and student get failure and student not enrolled, and that is the big scenario all over the India that we can observe. What are the bottlenecks? The main important issue that the managing director has been highlighting, there is a big gap between the curriculum and big gap between the expectation of the industry. So these gaps are supposed to be bridged. And this gap is not supposed to be considered just only for revamping the curriculum activity, but you have to make the reverse engineering to reproduce this particular outcome-based education into the practical mode or playing the student and placing the student in the industry. Again, in front of me, big question is that I always say industry doesn't mean that only the manufacturing industry. Industry by means of all. We are a human being, we are living in the society, and any problem in the society is a problem in the society, and that could be an industry. So that may be the corporate sector, that may be the banking sector, that may be the industrial sector, that may be manufacturing sector, that may be the government sector, and even though that may be private sector. Outcome education systems are supposed to be implemented under the NAP 2020. There is a big workshop that the TPOs and various institutions have taken out to consider the implementation of the outcome-based education by the various portfolio of the industries and academics all together. NAP 2020 gives different glimpses. Academically, University Grant Commission and the ICTs and NPAs and all different type of societies and authorities has empowered to implement and revamp the curriculum. What is the lacuna, the base lacuna that we need to understand to improve the rapid changes into the curriculum, and for implementing those curriculum, we need the expertise, and those expertise from the society, those expertise from the industry, and those expertise from among the stakeholders by means of these educational sectors and industrial sector. There is an important call from the NAP under NAP, and the ISHRAE has rightly picked up to marginalize the multi-institutional, multi-dimensional, multi-transformational, and what we can say, the dual degree program and multi-institutional program. As I am an engineer of computer science and engineering, I would like to say that I can able to solve the problem in the society of a person. I can able to solve the problem of the government. I can able to solve the problem of any particular person. So I need the multidisciplinary approaches, I need the languages, I need the humanities, I need the mathematics, I need applied sciences, I need everything, because of the nature of the problem is in a very complex mode, and we should not supposed to think only in the one dimension, a giving dimension. And that's why the serious call has been taken by ISHRAE and UGC. It's a multidisciplinary approach. You require the management, you require the language, you require engineering, you require the humanity, and all together we can develop a model to try to solve the problem in the society. Even though all IITs of India and NITs of India has developed a different department about the humanities and languages, because language playing an important role. If you are not able to express in your own mother tongue, we can be able to reproduce our problem seriously. Those syllabuses are mounted on you, but you can take a call seriously by your eminent conscious mind unless or until you don't understand that particular problem. So NLP and language transformation and translation, this is the one most biggest area in front of all of us. And ISHRAE has taken a call to develop the syllabuses and curriculum in your own mother tongue. मी माझ्या मातृभाषेमध्ये आत्मीयतेने बोलू शकतो, परकीय भाषेत बोलू शकत नाही. माझ्या भावना संवेदना मी मांडू शकतो, त्या फक्त मातृभाषेत मांडू शकतो. And if you can able to see that the mother tongue and mother languages educational right from the PG to KG, there are so many great examples all over the world. Let us take an example for the Japan. Let us take an example for the Germany. From KG to PG, every education in their own mother tongue and then. If I can understand the problem of the real world in the real more sense, and if I have that education through my inner conscious, I can be able to develop and provoke to develop and provide the solution of that problem. And that's why, like IITs and NITs, Government of India has again taken a mission, at least to start one institute at the state level, at the institute level, that is the language transformation and translation. You need to have the NLP in our code, we can code it the natural language processing. So there is a problem of mechanical engineering, there is a problem of agriculture, there is a problem of society, there is a very big problem. And Government of India identified some specific areas, specifically to revamp the curriculum, to bring together the industry together, to develop the problems and to solve the problems and large for the society. And those problems are, one is it is the biggest and that we are working since last 2 decades, that is the geospatial technology. What geospatial technology means that which require the sensor, electronics, computer, IT, minerals, agriculture, and environmental, geography, geology, and information you should have to track, and develop the model under the machine learning and artificial intelligence. So everybody says that there are the three technologies, artificial intelligence, machine learning and IoT, do everything in the way for everybody's life. Mechanical engineering required, chemical engineering required, biodiversity required, biological engineering required, drug design required, or any sort of the problem when you are going to solve in a big way, the big data analytic and machine learning in AI is required. So more focus and more authentication in the curriculum development that we would like to suppose to develop this technology in different way. And don't think that these are the only Malti-Hak or Swami for the engineering. So AI doesn't mean that only, you can see the syllabus, MA Economics in Artificial Intelligence, MBA in Artificial Intelligence, Languages in Artificial Intelligence. So you need to have the multiple combinations and multiple creation, and you think in that way. There is a job, there is a call, and there is a revamping of the curriculum that you need to identify as a stakeholder, as a roller of the institution. Second point I would like to put in front of you, as the EIC taken a call for minor and major, multi-institutional, what you can say, discipline and trans-discipline curriculum-based approaches. And there is the ABC, Academic Bank of Credit. So you have a scope. A person can go into the industry, perform a job, come out again, join the institute, perform some 2-3 courses, go into the again industry. So there is a continuous cascading process happen nowadays, and that's why the academic constitution model is completely drastically changed, and we are in the transformation form. There is the biggest challenge to implement in front of the universities and institutions, even though IITs and NITs. So industry should supposed to take a call, people should supposed to take a call, students should supposed to take a call, and even though the society is supposed to take a call to implement this transition very effectively. Then and then we can have, there is no question of the employability, there is no question about the people or the society. So this is very serious one, and the TPO, particularly training and placement officer, before putting that particular call as an authority in front of all, I will take another 2 points. What we need actually, we need the ethical education, we need the moral education, and we need the professional ethics in the profession also. Though we are the developer, we can earn more money, and we cannot able to solve the problem in the society ethically. There is no question to solving that particular problem. I can earn crores of rupees, but I cannot able to solve a problem with single beggar. Then the knowledge and that money doesn't have any meaning. So you should take a call as a professional ethic. You should take a call as a social ethic. And you are the part of the society, and always think that we should supposed to give back to the society as a part of the societal member. So while maintaining the dignity in academics at any position, you should always take a back call from the society as an ethical education, as a moral education, even though in the industry and academia, that also happens under any patent as a call. My dear friend, to implement this particular scenario, there is a big gap. Always says, and I also believe that there is a big gap between the societal problem, big gap between the academia, and big gap between the industry, and big gap between the students and academia and industry. So we are going to reach 100% definitely the training and placement officer. Training and placement officer doesn't mean that a single officer. I would like to rather to say that by implementing this transition in the higher education institution all over India, we should have to make a proposal. We should have to make a concrete demand toward the authority and toward the government. There should be a training and placement department of each and every institution, and this institution is supposed to be high. Why? Because you always have the academic constant with you. You are always a teachers and researching your institution, and developing the problem of the industry. Industry also having their curriculum and there is productivity line on the other together. No one has the time to take a call and bridge this particular gap. If there is a sufficient department specifically developed, it is happening in the Western countries. I was visited in the University of Pennsylvania in last December. There is a separate department of the training and placement officer. There is no TPO officer. There is a director of training and placement. So there is one director. There is one portfolio officer. There is a different board of governance. And on the governance of this board, there is people from the industry, there is people from the society, there is people from the academia. They think and they decide and they discuss the problem always for the society and how the curriculum and how the industrial and social problem should supposed to get reached and how we can wake up our student apart from their regular curriculum to enrich that particular development curriculum into the problem solving solution. So my concern as a personal concern is that we have the authority government of Maharashtra here, so we can discuss later on with him, and we can put this particular constraint toward the University Grant Commission Chairman and University EICT Chairman to establish, there is a cell, but cell doesn't have a full-fledged meaning. So you should develop the training and development department, and you should appoint a director to the training and technical development. Under the director, there are some officers, there are some particular specific board of government, and always consistently you can develop. And there should be an alumni. Alumni is a very important constraint. Those who are working under the industries and some different portfolio of the government and non-government NGOs. You should take the call from this. What are the problems of the society and government at large? And to discuss and narrate and consistently, as per the policy NEP 2020, you require to have to rehab the curriculum after 2 semesters, after 2 years, and after 3 years consistently to adapt the changes, to adapt the requirement of the society and problem of the industry altogether. Then and then I think the training and placement, the unit or department will be able to sustain and try to help it out for the betterment of the students and the betterment of the institution and the society at large. Another point I would like to put in front of you, there is a NAAC accreditation, there is a NBA, where always happens to go to the NAAC and NBA, and there is a national ranking framework, there is a world ranking framework, and your institution, my institutions also basically face these particular challenges to get into involved. If I want to have the international standards and international recognition, I must have to have this ranking at the upward side. And if you flip that in US ranking and world ranking scenario, industries and academic collaboration, societies and academic collaborations, and back to the society and society endurance collaborations are having the importance. Why? Because of what the society required, what the neighborhood required, what the industry required. If it is not included in your curriculum, if it is not implemented through your curriculum during the course and constraint, then there is no use. And that's why these particular stakeholders are supposed to be considered together, and maybe the NAAC and NBA are going to change their structure to evaluate the institution on the basis of these parameters. There should be some dual degree program, and one college again, one institute having the 2 semester, another institute on the industry having the 2 semester, industry and universities, industry and institution having the 2 semester APG program or master program altogether. This practice is always happen in Western countries, some are in IIT Madras and other IIT Delhi also. There are 2 semesters, one industry is sponsored, there are 3 semesters institution sponsored. Altogether they bridge a course, and they need to try to find out the conspicuous constituting feedback from the industry under the development of the NEP 2020 and the curriculum development for bridging the gap. So if this type of model has supposed to be really carried out, regular consent of the authorities of the universities and institutions, that is Board of Studies, Management Council, Academic Council, not found to be sufficient because they are totally constructive or going for the long-range planning, short-range planning, but directly bridging the gap toward the students and the outcome-based education and industry and society requirement. I think there is an Indian need to have to establish such type of training and placement department of each and every institution, through which you can able to solve, register, report, and give the concrete directions and solutions to the young generation of the India, to the young generation of the society. And through which we can able to maintain the different constraints and different policies what we expect under the NEP 2020. And the last point I would like to say, we are the engineers, we are the professionals, we are the scientists, we are the academicians, not just mean for producing the graduate and research and doctorate. What we mean to say, आम्ही रोज नोकऱ्या घेणारा नाही तर नोकऱ्या देणारे भावत आहे. And that's why every university, as per the new education policy and government regulation 2016-17 University Act, there is a special board of Director of Innovation and Incubation. So you should create the incubator. In spite of producing 1,000 people PhDs and 2,000 graduate and postgraduate from the institution, every institution have to constitute a particular specific constraint under this particular board of innovation and incubation. At least 5 incubator, 5 industrialists, or 5 technology transfer that we should create from the academic constraint from the current year or from the next year. If that agenda that we have, then maybe after a few years, there might be not a problem for the employability. When we are going to create the employers, when we are going to create the entrepreneurs, when we are going to provide the support to them, to incubate them, to involve them, and for that a dedicated R&D and patenting and filing component is important. If you have the patent, if you have the file, if you have the research innovation, if you have the dedicated research, you can convert your idea or your patent into the technological transfer. And then the industry is waiting for take it and scale up. If the product is so unique, if the product is so robust, everyone is supposed to be ready to take it up at a large and scaling it up. And that's why that the training and placement department should look after how we can able to create not just pushing your student into the industry or into the society, into the market, but how we can able to create or involve them and motivate them to become an entrepreneur, to become an innovator, and to become an industrialist. I think this is the only thing call that we can take under the NAP 2020 and in the institution, and then we can able to solve the purpose and the basic core objective of the nations and the institution. So, my dear friend, there is a lot to say, but because of the constraint of the time, I cannot able to take much more time because you have a lot of deliberation and discussion altogether. Once again, I thank to the organizer, and I thank to the big audience those who are coming from all over the country beyond Maharashtra. They also take the backbone message from their in their institution and ask to their state government and authority just to start the independent department to resolve and to involve this type of problem at the national level. And nowadays, there is no bar for the IITs, for the NITs, from the universities, from the institution, and there is no bar again from the private and government. Under the NAP 2020, everybody on equal stage and everybody on equal right. So take us this call as a good spirit and high spirit, and let us develop the India as a Vishwaguru in future coming day. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for your wonderful thoughts, wonderful inputs. I'm sure all industry and academics will come together to